Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss on a data share feature in Microsoft Purview. We can basically share data from the Azure Data Platform in different ways. Previously, I discussed on the Azure Data Share service. Today, it's going to be a different service called Microsoft Purview, and through which we are going to use the data share feature. So let's dive into the demo. What we are going to have, I'm going to use two different accounts. One is my COF account, and another one is my personal account to share and receive the data. So let's dive into the demo. So this is the sender subscription that we have. Now what we are going to do it now, there are a couple of steps. As I was mentioning, this feature is in preview, so we probably need to take few additional steps to work with this feature. First, what we are going to do, we are going to create a brand new storage account. So let's send a storage account which is in EastUS, and I'm going to take a local redundant storage, and let me just make it Data Lake Gen2. Similarly, I'm creating the storage account in my another subscription. So as we let me local redundant, and let me just create the hierarchical namespace as well. Okay, so at the source side, storage account is already created. Now what we are going to do next, we are going to get into the storage account and create a container. So inside that container, we are going to put some sample files, and we would like to share that file through Microsoft Purview. So let me just go to the container and create one sample container. So this is my source sample container. Okay, so now I can see in the sender storage account one, I have a container called source sample container. And there I have uploaded two files, file 2.csv and file 3.csv. Now we'll quickly get into our Microsoft Purview account. And the first step that we would like to do from there, we would like to register this storage account as a data source there, so that Microsoft Purview can scan the content and can understand, what files are there. So let me do that. This is my sender Purview account. So what I'm just going to do now, I'm going to register the container that I have created. The first thing that we need to do, we need to register the data sources that we have. So we'll just quickly go to the collection. And as we have created Azure Data Lake Gen2, we'll just select this. And this is the one that we have created. And we'll just do the register. Microsoft Purview is going to access the data storage and scan the metadata that we have. Or in order to do that, Microsoft Purview need to authenticate to the storage account that we have created, right? So that is something we can do it using the managed identity. Okay, let's look into the documentation that we have. So if you look at the documentation, there are a couple of prerequisites that we have. So now, if you look at this prerequisite, there are a couple of preview feature that we need to register: allow data sharing and allow data sharing hero region. Now this one is applicable when the storage account is created in this specific region. So as we have created our storage account in EastUS, so we also need to register allow data sharing hero region additionally into our subscription. So for that, we'll get into the subscription, and these are the preview features that we have, right? So let me just search with allow. Okay, so as we can see, these two preview features are already registered in our subscription. So we are good in that. So let's get into the data source. We have already registered the data source, and I think this is the one that we have registered. Yeah, the sender storage account. The next thing that we would like to do, we would like to see if we already have access to this storage account. Since interactively, I'm accessing, I'll make myself as a storage blob data owner, as well as I'll make the Microsoft Purview account as a storage blob data contributor. Okay. So we have selected storage blob data owner, and I'll just give to this account. And similarly, I'll just add one more role assignment, and that would be to our Microsoft Purview account. So for that, I'll select the manage identity, and then I'll just select the one we are using. So we'll just go and review and assign it. Okay, so the access is done. Okay, so now we are in the collection. So from this collection, what we are going to do, we are just going to create a new scan. And from this new scan, we would like to do a test connection to see whether we do have access to, like Microsoft Purview does have access to the storage account or not, right? So let me just do the test connection. And you can see that, it has access. Now, there are two ways we can basically share the data. Like we can just scan the whole storage account, and then we can get into the individual metadata level, and we can share the data from there, from the search window. Or we can we can directly go to this share option, and we can share the data. So let's first do this from this option, right? So we'll just create a new share, and since it's ADLS Gen2, so we'll create that, and we'll select the sender storage account, create on continue, sharing data for demo. So instead of giving it in the file level, I'll just give it in the container level, right? So that I would like to share the whole data that is there in this container. We can just create one drop container or some explicit container in our storage account, which is dedicatedly meant for sharing the data. We can do that. So let me just select this, and we'll just do continue and add recipient. And here I'm just going to use my other account to create and share data. So let's look into the email. So let me just open my email and try to find it out. So as we can see, I have received uh, the invitation email to my other account, saying like just providing a link. So what I'll do next, I'll just copy this link, and I'll get into my another browser where we previously created a different storage account, and this storage account that we have. So let me just go to this resource, and this storage account that we have. In this storage account, I would like to receive the data from this data set. All right, so let me just open the link that I have received in my email, and let me just open that. All right, so I have selected the required Azure Active Directory and the account in which I would like to receive the shared data. So I'll just click on continue. I need to provide the storage account where I would like to store my data. So receive share name is this. Select the storage account, and I created the name of this. I think it start with consumer. So let me just put this. Let me just put path container received data and input files or something, or receipt files. So before I click on the attach to target, so let's look into uh, the documentation that we have. So let me just go to the documentation, and if I just click on the receive share, let's look into the prerequisites. I believe these are the prerequisites already met. Allow data sharing and allow data sharing hero region. These two preview features I have already registered in my subscription, so we are good in that. And a target account created. So this is pretty important. A target account, storage account that is created after the registration step is completed, it would be taken into account. So the preview feature that I have registered in the subscription level, right? After that, whatever the uh, storage account that we create in the source side and also in the target side, that would be taken into account for this preview feature. Now I had already registered those preview feature in the subscription, and I believe after that I created that. So we are good in this. As you can see, like I also need to be like you need the contributor and owner or storage blob data owner access in the target storage account. If I just go to the access control, those two roles are already added. Now we'll get into the Microsoft Purview account, and we'll just do attach to target. Now what it will happen, like it will just create the mapping between the source container and the target container. Now one thing to remember, here it is not happening, like snapshot based copy is not happening. It's kind of a in place copy. So that means that we would be able to see the current state of the container at the receiver end, right? So it is currently doing attaching. So after I think after few seconds or 1 minute, we would be able to see the attached option. So we'll quickly go to our consumer end, and let's look into the container that we have. For this account, I can see the container, and then I know it's a receive file. And what we are able to see, not any file, and I hope it is not yet attached. So let's wait for some time. So as we can see, after 1.5 minute, there is a notification came which is saying the attaching of the thread is successful. Also, we can see it from here. So now what we can do, we can just go back to this and we'll just try to refresh this page, right? So now we can see the receipt file source sample container. And remember, like we shared the whole container. Hence, I'm able to see the view of the whole container, right? Okay, so let's do one more testing. So I'm able to see two files. That is good. What happens like if I would like to delete this? So let's see where I'm deleting. I'm trying to delete it in the consumer level, in the consumer side. So it is saying failed to delete. Obviously, it's a read-only access that we have. We won't be able to edit the file, and it is an in-place sharing. So nothing can be changed from the target side. The next thing that we would like to do, we'd like to go to the source and then drop one more file in the same container and then try to see if it is getting reflected, uh, you know, instantaneously in the target side or not. So let me just get into the storage account and let me just go to the container. All right, in the source side, I have just added file 4, and at the same time, I'll just delete file 2 that I have uploaded. Okay, right now I have file 3 and file 4 in the source side. Let me just get into the destination side that is there. I'll just try to refresh it, and I can see this is exactly the same view that we have. So this is how we can basically share the whole container from source side to the destination side to any external user, because in this case the recipients in this case is into a different domain, because I was using my personal account in the source and different email address in the destination side. The next thing that we would like to do, so this is how like we can basically share a container, right? Similarly, what we can do, there is an extra step that we can do. So let's say that we have like multiple entities scanned in Azure Purview, and we would like to share a particular entity that I could see in the search result. So for example, I go get into the search and then I just search the assets that I have. So let me just filter it down to Microsoft. So let's say I just try to look at the files that I have. Now this is the file that I have, Spark input and output file.csv. Now I would like to share this file to my target recipients. Now we can basically get the data share option from the search window as well. Like we can get inside the individual metadata, and from that metadata itself we can find the data share option, using which we can individually select the file and send it. So this is how we can use the data share feature in Microsoft Purview to share data from any source subscription. So that's all for the demo, and I hope that this demo might be helping you in your use case. Thank you so much for watching.